As I talk to these artists and I read the literature on second-generation survivors, there are certain things that get repeated again and again, such as the fact that so many times the parents who survived the Holocaust basically wanted to shelter them, didn't talk, that the artists had to discover many things on their own following the death of their parents.
It's about memories that have been transmitted to me, through different generations. Because my parents were very silent about the war, and they were among that generation that never wanted to talk about it.
I was getting older, and I realized that I'm the only one being able to tell the story of my father and his parents, and I decided to do it now.
It's important that these artists who are still connected with that horrible episode from World War II, that these people are still among us, and they have continued to create work, in a sense, inflected, not inspired, but inflected or affected by that history. And they are basically the ones who are conveying the memories of that history. So it provides another lens through which to understand even the current conflicts.
I consider myself, to a certain extent, a documentarian, not in a more direct way, but in an abstract sort of way. And it's my mother's story, but in fragments. And I extracted the parts that I remember, that stood out to me as I was a child growing up, that profoundly affected me, that just constantly resonated.
I often wondered how was their journey, and what kind of memories did they have from going through the horrific times that they went through. Each dot or each round-ish figure piece is a memory.
One of the things that sparked this work was finding the ship's manifest of my father's escape from Lisbon to London. So I started to make these things I called night boats. And they're patched together out of all kinds of strange materials, and they look very fragile, but they're kind of resilient. And they're about the experience of displacement and migration, where you have to sort of patch your life together out of whatever you have on hand and just keep moving forward.
This is a reminder of something very painful, but also a reminder that the statistical odds of surviving Auschwitz are very low. And the fact that he survived and that I was born is a miracle, and I felt I needed to do that. There is nobody else to do that, to tell the story. And there are many stories like that.
I'm working with photographs at times of family members who were murdered during the Holocaust. And if I put their images out, or I do something that names them, they're not gone.
Trauma creates new growth in strange ways, unconnected with the original trauma. And so I feel like I'm part of this group of artists it's a sort of a creative regeneration and passing the stories on to the future.
Our stories are to be told, to be shared, to be learned from, to be taught, to be honored, to be memorialized, but to be celebrated when that's possible.